You are welcome to this session. I am Engineer Justin Kevin Zambwa to talk about technical documentation. The learning outcome for this discussion as follows. At the end of this session, trainees should be able to define documentation, likewise define documentation system. Furthermore, the trainee should be able to explain contract document and then project documentation and manuals. As an introduction, documentation records the progress of project. Likewise, control the time spent of the project. Documentation keeps tracks of cost of project. Similarly, needed procedures are placed early for a project. Documentation is maintained throughout the project. The following are types of documents that should be put in place for a project, such as daily logs, photographs, correspondence, etc., etc. Now, what is documentation? Documentation includes a complete record of the project, and also it involves all contract documents, records of circumstances, daily reports, and meeting minutes or minutes of meeting as the case may be. Similarly, other items included in documentation are as follows: schedules, site visit records, telephone logs, minutes of meetings, job correspondence, diaries, job logs, time cards, and photos of site work. Documentation system. Documentation system is a systematic process for keeping regular, accurate, complete, and legible records of daily activities, actual circumstances, and unusual events on a project. Importance of documentation. Good documentation can identify issues. 1. 2. It resolves conflicts. Likewise, settle disputes, and furthermore, avoid litigation and provide tangible proofs. For a good documentation practices, it must be accurate, objective, complete, uniform, credible, and timely. Why do we document? Why do we document project? Why do you document events? Or what are the things to document? In general, we document everything. As it says, a quote from Murphy's Law, the most insignificant piece of information will become the item that is most important if you don't document it. The item you don't document will be the one that someone wants to see. A quote from Murphy's Law. Therefore, this takes us to what to document. We document no opinions, no placing of blame, no guesses, no theories, and absolutely do not modify notes. Furthermore, I'll talk about how to document. That is, we'll consider some tools used for documentation, such as we use computers, photographs, video cameras, audio recorders, written reports, and daily logs as earlier mentioned. I'll talk on project manual, as is also known as spec book and drawings, etc. Project manual includes bidding documents, contract forms, specifications, drawings, other information which depends on the type of project to be embarked on. Other project manuals are permits, geotechnical information, and so on and so forth. Under contract documents, we have drawing, which are graphically, and graphical drawing provides arrangements, materials, dimensions, configurations, and others. Under specification section, I'll talk about advertisement. Under advertisement talks about instructions to bidders. It covers proposal, agreement, bond, insurance, wage rates, general conditions, and technical informations. Precedence is set by author of the specification, normally special provisions, general provisions, detailed drawings, general drawings, and standard specifications and drawings. Other documents are special instructions, stop work orders, soil reports, that is soil analysis, purchasing list, substantial completion of the project, and then final completion of the project. The following are preferred documents that should be made available, such as shop drawings, submittals, codes and permits, agreements. Under preferred document, you ask questions. Question as what? As what, why, who, and what do I need to do? What is the purpose of project documentation? 1, for proper planning and management. Notice and reservation of rights. Aid in resolving claims and disputes. Can be overwhelming, but is essential. Thus, it must be organized. Also, the purpose of project documentation is standardized with written procedures, major classifications, and chronological filing. From the beginning, I've talked about what documentation is. That is, documentation must be on ground. On ground for reference, because it is a record of progress of work at the site or progress of work for the project. And then document controls the time spent for a project. Similarly, documentation has to do with all contract documents, daily reports, and minutes of meeting. Why do we document? We document for reference purposes, and documentation system is encouraged. Why? Because it's a systematic process for keeping regular and accurate, complete, and legible records of activities, be it daily and then of actual circumstances of the project. It can be unusual or usual events on project. So far, a lot cannot be exhausted here, but more of informations, detailed explanation on technical documentation in regards to contracts, documentation, and others are being captured on our materials provided online. Thank you for listening to this topic on technical documentation, and I am Justin Kevin Zambo.